Hello and welcome to Overdrive. This is the much awaited Bajaj Freedom, the CNG motorcycle. So in this video, let's quickly take a walk around and let me tell you all the juicy details on this much awaited commuter from Bajaj. A game changer of sorts. Will it do that is something that we'll have to wait and watch. But in this video, let's talk about all the details, right? To begin with, it's called the Freedom. You get that right on the forks. They've done this nice body panel and the Freedom logo goes right on it. The second E is going to be done up in the Indian tricolor, so a moment of pride for all Indians, because this is, Bajaj is claiming, the world's first CNG motorcycle, the first of its kind. So that's the other place where you're going to get the Bajaj Freedom logo right on the side. There's a 3D Bajaj emblem and right below that is the Freedom logo. Quite nicely done, looks quite nice, looks quite premium. You also get this panel on the side, and behind this is going to be a small 2-liter tank. That's for the petrol. And under the seat, right behind that, is the CNG tank. It's a 2 kg CNG tank that sits right below the seat. And they have intelligently used a trellis frame instead of a standard frame that we see on most other commuters. So the trellis frame essentially frees up space right in between for that tank, and then also acts like a protective cage for it in case of an accident. So I think that's quite wisely executed. In fact, the premium bits don't stop there. You also get a monoshock suspension, you get a box swing arm, and you get a fat 120 section tire at the rear. So those things are quite nicely executed. You also get this very beefy engine guard right in the front. Behind that is the 125cc engine. That is the heart of this motorcycle. It puts out 9.5 PS of power, 9.7 Newton meters of torque. You can easily switch between CNG and petrol using this little switch. Now, we've seen in the past with cars as well, where CNG may not give you the kind of instantaneous torque that you want. Sometimes they can struggle on hill climbs, etc. So if that happens, you can seamlessly switch from CNG to petrol on the fly, and the engine will just draw the necessary fuel from either the tank or the petrol tank, depending on what you've chosen. Bajaj says a range of 330 kilometers is possible on this, which I think is phenomenal. So you will not need to make those frequent stops to CNG pumps, because, well, if you've taken those cab rides, I'm sure you've always heard the cab driver say, "Sir, on the way CNG bharna hai," and that's usually a long wait, right? So you are going to be joining those queues if you're going to be buying one of these, but you will not have to do that often with that 330 kilometer range. That's what we are hoping. What is the real world range is something that we'll find out when we actually ride the motorcycle. Like I said, 2 kg tank sits right underneath, and that also makes sure that this tank element is pretty short. Because of that, the seat is pretty long, 20% longer than a standard 125cc motorcycle seat. So that's really long and really flat. But don't get ideas, don't put 3 or 4 people on that. The rider plus the pillion plus some space for your luggage should be good. Use it that way. If you're riding alone, you want to bungee some stuff at the back, because CNG might also be picked up by people who are running a small business or something, and they might use this as their one motorcycle to do it all. So from that perspective as well, you get these nice mounts so you can safely, securely bungee some stuff onto the rear seat. That's a completely flat seat, so that's again a very good addition. You get a chunky but usable grab handle right at the back. The tail light is LED, the blinkers are all halogen. You get the sari guard right here, so if sari clad ladies are going to be side saddling on this motorcycle with you, they should be easily able to get leverage here. The overall space for their feet is nicely executed. The sari guard also is nicely executed. There's an auxiliary and additional guard right beneath, so that nothing really gets entangled in that chain. It's a chain drive, it's a 5-speed gearbox, it's a 1 down 4 up configuration that you see right here, and it's a toe and heel shifter. Even the foot pegs are quite nicely executed, and I quite like that. The engine, horizontal configuration, 125cc like I told you, but we have seen 125cc motorcycles usually have ABS options. Unfortunately, you don't get that on this. In fact, Bajaj's own Platina 110 also gets an ABS option, but this one doesn't. So I don't know why they've done that. Anyway, you can either choose a disc, that's the top end model, or you can get a drum with the LED headlight, or you can simply get a drum with a standard halogen headlight. That's going to be the base model at 95,000 rupees. Drum plus LED is going to be 1,05,000 ex showroom, and disc plus LED is going to be 1,10,000 ex showroom. No ABS option, like I mentioned. Interestingly, the wheel sizes. There's a 17-inch front shod with a 90/80 rubber Euro grip. The rear is a 120 but shod on a 16-inch rim, so that is going to limit your tire choice options. So let me know what are your thoughts on that. You get this big wheel hugger. Bajaj loves doing wheel huggers. There's also an additional bit of plastic element right here. The CNG logo goes here to tell the world you are trying sustainable mobility. Now, in terms of the sound, not too different than your standard 125cc single. So let's just take a listen. You have to do that twice. You have to do that twice. I don't know why, but anyway, take a listen. So that's on petrol. Let me move to CNG. Like I said, seamless transition, just a little stutter there, and now it's CNG. And for the onlookers, how do they know it's CNG? You can smell it, you can smell the gas. Anyway, let's turn that off. Now let's move to the cluster, and let me turn this on again so that you can quickly take a look at what the negative cluster looks like. It is Bluetooth enabled, but you do not get any satellite or any navigation on it or through your phone or whatever. You are only going to get notifications for your messages, your calls, etc. Nothing to do with navigation. So for navigation, you're going to mount your phone here. They've given this additional bar on the handlebar. It's pretty slim. You'll need to look for compatible mounts, and you can power your phone using this USB-A charger that you get right here. I hope you're able to see that. Right, so that's going to be the handlebar. That's the switch gear. This is where you start the bike from. This is where you're going to switch between petrol and CNG, turn blinker, horn, and what is this? What's the phone thing? Is it SOS? I don't know. Anyway, speaking of SOS, speaking of safety, they have done 11 safety tests, including one where they've taken a multi-axle trailer right over the motorcycle with the container on top of it. So heavy truck going right on top of the motorcycle, and the tank still remains fine, doesn't explode, doesn't lead to any leaks or whatever. So that's very good. So in terms of the range, I told you it's going to be 330 kilometers on 2 kgs of CNG. So do the math, but Bajaj gives you another math. If you were to run it on CNG for the next 5 years, you will save 75,000 rupees compared to the running cost of a 125cc petrol. So I think that is pretty good. That's good math to go with. So will you pick up a CNG motorcycle? That's going to be the big question. Let us know. If there are any other questions, let us know in the comments or DM them to us. My colleague Chris is going to be riding this motorcycle very soon, in fact starting this evening. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments right away so we can answer them in our review. If there is something that we haven't covered in this walk around and you would like us to cover in our review, again, let us know on that as well. But I think contemporary styling, good looking motorcycle, good promise of a beautiful range of 330 kilometers, CNG, petrol, both included, nice bash plate, Husqvarna kind of styling, flat seat. The silhouette is very Husqvarna in my opinion. But what are your opinions on this bike? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this one. Until the next one, take care and ride safe.